This Monday night, we're sending you back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Josh Delgado with my sister Glenda Delgado. And I don't know what to say after that. It's been a while.
Welcome back to the podcast. We are brother and sister, and we talk about movies because we love movies.
Pretty much. I got a story that I've been waiting to talk to you about. And there hasn't been any updates, but maybe you heard of it. So, according to Variety, U.S. District Judge Stephen Wilson ruled a couple weeks ago that movie studios can be sued under false advertising laws if they release deceptive movie trailers. The case involved the 2019 movie called Yesterday, which stars Himesh Patel as a man in the world without the Beatles. The trailer for Yesterday included clips of actor Ana de Armas. Fans of the actor filed a lawsuit in last January, alleging that they had rented the movie for only $5. And after seeing the movie, she wasn't in it. They sued. So when I was reading these articles, because I think there's confusion here, people think they won already. I don't think they won the case. A lot of times with lawsuits, you come in and the judge is going to determine if you can proceed with a lawsuit. Opposed to, I think that's what happened here, because I didn't see anything that they actually got the payouts. That's like millions of dollars they're asking for a $5 rental. I think what happened here, because there's another court date coming that they could actually proceed with the lawsuit, which is not good. Hopefully, but I don't think they actually won, which hopefully they lose, because it's pretty ridiculous. People, so we talk about this all the time. Stuff gets cut from films, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's flow, maybe it's not working. So Ana de Armas, she got cut from this movie. It was a small part, but she was in the trailer because people had a bad reaction to the main actor. Did you see the movie Yesterday?
No.
I haven't seen it. So it's basically this guy ends up in a different universe and there's no Beatles. So he
I remember the premise.
I remember the premise. Yeah. So she got cut basically because he had a love interest, and it rubbed people the wrong way when he started flirting with her, and I guess they go out or something, and it ruined the movie for a lot of people. So they cut her out.
So, but wait, she was the love interest, or
No,
she was?
He had a main love interest in the movie.
Yes.
And then he meets her later on. I think in like Leno or something like that.
And people just didn't vibe well with that. They didn't like it.
They didn't like it because they connect, and then they go on a date or something, and they felt like he was being backstab or whatever. So they cut her out to make the movie. So this is what happens in movies. You can't. I can't believe go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, addressing that in particular, there is like these fine lines and edits that you have to make to create a whole character that people like, and it could be one little thing, and if people are reading it wrong, you edit it out. I was just watching The Change Up yesterday. Have you seen it? I've never seen it with.
It's Jennifer Aniston, or
no, it's with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman, and they switched lives. And Jason Bateman, Leslie Mann is in it. He's married to her; she's the wife. And Jason Bateman is living a married, man's life, and Ryan Reynolds is a single man's life. And they say, "Oh, we wish we could have switched places." It is raunchy as fuck. I don't know that it went there. Like, I think it's the most raunchiest thing I've ever seen. And just so inappropriate, but it was, I have to say, so hilarious. But like, how, I thought it was interesting writing wise, like what you're saying, how to go to a place where you still like a character and make certain choices. And even though it was raunchy, he still had to make these choices to make us still like him. So yeah, like what you're saying, they cut her out probably for that reason, so that people still like this character. So yeah, that happens. That's normal. Whether or not, I understand their argument. I don't think I would ever sue for that. It just seems so silly.
I can't believe the judge let it through.
I think that it's, false advertisement is always an issue anyway. And if people, if they're making money off of, it isn't about the $5. It's that $5 adds up when it's a lot of people buying into Ana de Armas. So it's more like it's almost like a class action lawsuit, in that like everybody's buying into this, and you guys are falsely advertising this movie, and you're making money off of people who think that someone's in it. So yes, to some degree, I would say like, yeah, if somebody's not in it and you're putting them in the trailer, that is weird. But like, Marvel creates fake scenes. I think that's okay. Like you're
Yeah,
misdirecting
but see,
ideas.
this opens the door for even Marvel to get sued. That's why I don't
I
like it going
know,
through.
I know,
So
I know.
your husband makes movie
We
trailers.
talked about it. Yeah.
Those things. So what did he say? Because those things go out really early. This is test screenings at the end. So
So from his perspective, he's
yeah,
just the trailer editor. So he has nothing to do with that. It's up to the studio to make those decisions. Hey, they're not in it. Take it out. You know,
but that's what I'm
they're
saying.
just
So
their job on from his perspective for the trailer industry and trailer houses in particular. Their job is just to make a selling, to sell the movie. It's marketing.
yeah,
It's up to the studio to make certain decisions.
that's what I'm saying. So
Like
those
remove
trailers that he
somebody who's
works
not in
on,
it.
starts with like a teaser, and then you get the full trailer, and that starts months in advance. The test screens, that's
Yeah.
at the end, and a lot of times movies are
Yeah.
saved at last minute edits or saved last minute edits. So this was a
Okay,
last
but
minute edit from test screens. So at that
well,
point, people already seen Anna de Armas. They didn't intended to cut her. It's just that the test screens it was so bad they got to make a profit. They got to like this movie's not working this way, but she had to get cut. It happens all the time.
But do you think so? Wait, are you saying that she was edited out after it was
The,
theatrically released, and she was only edited out for
after the test
the
screenings,
VOD? Oh, but test screens.
no 10
So my
screens. That's
argument,
yeah.
the test screens, yeah. But my argument is, what do you think about it reaching all the way to VOD level, and at that point, someone's not in it. I don't know. I just feel like yes, your
You talk about
argument makes
video
sense.
on demand. Well,
Yeah,
my
because
thing is
they're talking about renting it on Prime or whatever. I'm sure, right?
okay. Oh, yeah,
Or who
that's a good point. So you should be a lawyer because you're talking about they're still advertising her. Then at that point they rented it because
Yes.
it's not in theaters
Yeah.
because this is before COVID, I believe.
Right.
So,
They have
so
so much time because your argument is like, well, it was just right after they made that
that's
decision
yeah.
immediately after. But if we're talking about
So it
VOD,
depends because they might have just remembered old trailers and then like they just waited. I don't know. So that's something that has to be clarified. So my issue is because this is something that affects you, right? So you purposely don't watch trailers because they give away too much, right? They give away too much.
right,
So they have
right.
to be deceptive, like Marvel does, and erase stuff and they actually do alternate scenes. This opens the door if they win that Marvel can't even do that. Now they're going to give out even more because now I still watch trailers. Other people still watch trailers. You don't because of this. If they need to be deceptive to a certain degree. It just opens a bad precedent, a bad door because of this. Because shit gets cut all the time. Mary Jane Watson got cut from the original Spider-Man. She had a small part, but she wasn't obviously
You
promoted
know,
as much as
I
Anna.
think for you and I that makes sense. So what about the average moviegoer? What about somebody who has a large family, and this is a special trip and they're falsely advertised into buying their
Well,
favorite heroes in it? I think there's levels.
yeah, I mean,
I'm willing to hear the conversation about it. I personally, it doesn't affect me. Yeah, I don't watch trailers. I think it's silly. I personally, because I work in the industry, understand that changes are normal. Trailers are meant to market people. But yeah, there's something to be said about false marketing in general, not just movies,
yeah, I mean,
And
there's better things to
it's
go
not a big
after.
deal. Like I do feel like, come on, if they're asking you not to put somebody who's not in the movie in a trailer, you can fucking do it too. It's not the biggest
You
deal.
could,
I
after
get what
the
you're
fact.
saying. I get what you're saying. Retroactively, will that affect Marvel? I mean, I don't know. I hope not. I know what you're saying about that. Like, yeah, I care about that,
Affects
brand and stuff. But
affects a lot of movies.
if they said moving forward, let's like have in general. I hope it's not just trailers. You know.
It affects a
So
lot
I
of movies,
mean,
especially when it comes to teasers.
yeah.
The teasers are meant to the original teasers. They do teasers a little different now. The original teasers because they keep bringing up the original Jurassic Park. Um, and I remember the Terminator teaser was just the robots being built in Jurassic Park. They're looking at the sap and everything. But it's not in the movie. They're saying even stuff like that could be sued because it's not going to be the movie.
Could
Just
be,
like
but we
kind
don't
of
know.
yeah, but you don't want to open that Pandora's box. You don't want to open that
Yeah,
door.
but we can't do this too. We can't like not do things out of fear, like even like in
No, it's
general.
stupid. Anna de Armas is not even a big star. Like,
Well, But I
So
mean, we're talking about VOD. She is a big star now, so
then,
like I think if it's a general conversation, we're breaking things down. Yeah, if we're just like putting this umbrella and we can't do any of that anymore, that's silly too. Like you said, things happen, people get cut.
And then the next lawsuit's going to be like, do you remember Deep Blue Sea? With Samuel Jackson and LL Cool J. It's about the sharks in the facility.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: Samuel Jackson dies like 5 minutes into the movie. I'm gonna sue because they said he was gonna be the star of the movie. And say like, no, I want to be surprised.
I think that's the limitation. Like, you do have to understand that people die in stories. So like, if I'm curious to see where this is going. Like, if we're exploring different things and aspects of it, but not putting this whole umbrella over it. I don't know. I mean, again, because I don't even care for trailers, it doesn't affect me personally.
Yeah, well, affects
but
a lot of people.
I can see to some degree if someone doesn't have money and people are investing in a person, like that's a big marketing tool, and they're making money off of people thinking someone in it is it. That does feel like false advertisement.
$5. He said himself, $5. Give him his $5 back, then. Jesus, get a refund.
Well, yeah. I mean, right. I'm sure the argument is more, in general, it's,
well, they're making
millions.
They're
making millions.
They're asking for millions they're asking for millions for their $5 rental, but they didn't say they're going to share it with everybody else. As far as I know.
I mean,
I could be wrong.
That in particular could be stupid, but law is stupid. Law is crazy. Law isn't about finding the truth. It's like what you can prove and what you can defend and the points that you can make.
All right.
Law in general is stupid. And these people must know how to manipulate it. All right, next topic.
All right, good news for me. One of my favorite shows of all time, Community. They start filming in June. Community starts filming in June. The only downside, we don't know, Donald Glover and Yvette Nicole Brown weren't included in the announcement just yet. I don't care about Yvette Nicole Brown, but Donald Glover, when he left, the show kind of started dying. So if he don't come on the movie, kind of ruins it. But 6 seasons in the movie, starts filming this June.
Nice. No, I've never seen the show, but I hear it's really good. And I know it's written by Dan Harmon, right?
How the hell did you never watch it? I told you to watch it a long time ago. All your industry friends are talking about it.
Because I'm particular about comedy. And I just love when at night when I'm watching TV, I love my drama.
Talking about comedy, but you watch Rick and Morty, so he was doing multiverse stuff and that show before Rick and Morty.
It took Chris a few episodes to get me into Rick and Morty. I was like, oh shit, this is good. But I like sci-fi. So I could do comedy sci-fi if it was comedy sci-fi.
I'm telling you, they do stuff like that though. And plus they do a lot of movie parodies. Like a lot of it's about movies and TV tropes. So I was like,
well, if they're releasing a movie, I'm definitely down to watch it. Chris loves it. Chris loves Community. And yes. I love Dan Harmon's writing. But but yeah, Donald Glover not being in it.
We don't know. I mean, if anything, it'll probably be a guest appearance, but that's gonna suck. It needs to be in it. I think. But
was he that present in it? He was that funny in it?
Well, him and Abed. So the I think he's maybe Indian, or I'm not sure what he is actually, Middle Eastern.
Oh, is he tall and thin?
The tall, thin guy. Him and Abed. That's what makes Abed.
So I know him from Mythic Quest. You should watch that if you like comedy. That shit's so good. It's on Apple TV.
I think I've heard of it. But it's so he works best with Donald Glover. He's great anyway, but he works best as a tag team with Donald Glover.
Okay.
Doesn't work as good without him, so.
We really appreciate you doing this. Sure. And 3, 2, 1. Troy and Abed in the morning, and we're back. Look who's here, Jeff Winger.
Jeff, how do you stay so fit?
Diet, exercise, genetics.
Sure.
Okay, so it seems as though we have a clip. You want to set it up for us?
I'd like to, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, we'll just roll it.
Ooh, my name's Jeff Winger. Ooh.
Hey, I'm Jeff Winger. I'm so tall.
This watch is expensive.
Muscles are everywhere.
Oh, that was really funny.
Guys, what's going on? Where are the cameras?
Oh, we're not filming this.
Now, who'd want to watch this?
Oh, guys, it's 6 a.m. Jeez.
We're not gonna have him back.
Troy and Abed in the
It kind of ruins it.
Well, it's raining a lot.
I still haven't seen the Yahoo 6th season, so And Dan Harmon's gonna might have more time to fix this movie since I don't know if you heard about Justin Roiland.
No. What happened to Justin Roiland?
He's been arrested for domestic violence against a woman from 3 years ago.
No.
So I don't want to say too
When
much
was
because
that?
2 days ago.
Oh,
Just wait and see on that because who knows?
that's
But
disappointing. He does
yeah,
he
came
does
out of
Rick's
nowhere.
voice, right?
Does Morty's voice, Rick's voice, and like half the cast. So it's not gonna work without him.
Oh, man.
But we'll
That's
see what actually
disappointing.
what's going on or actually happened. Honestly, I could see him getting drunk and doing something stupid, but uh, innocent to
I know
proven
nothing
guilty.
about him, so I don't know, but
I
it's
don't know anything
sad.
about him, but I know he used to drink for real on the show, and so I don't know. I don't know anything about him, so I mean, I hope it's on something. I don't know. I don't really know. Until stuff comes out, I
Yeah.
can say.
Yeah. I mean, that affects the future of Rick and Morty,
Yeah, it
I
does.
would say. That sucks.
All
But
right,
somebody else could do Rick's voice, I'm sure.
Yeah, but then it never stopped. I never hear a good Rick voice. I hear like people can do Morty.
Morty.
Rick
Yeah,
is a
people could
lot
do Morty
harder.
really well.
Yeah, Rick is a little
Yeah.
harder. Plus it's like a lot of ad lib too. But
Oh,
we'll see. All right,
I didn't
third
realize he ad
topic.
libs a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that depression stuff is probably real. Maybe did he ad lib the wubba lubba dub dub,
Supposedly he did. Supposedly he did.
Oh,
Just making fun of
man.
it. He ad libbed it, and then it obviously worked out so well that they added in a feature episode where they put meaning into
Well, I
it.
just mean, do you know what it means? Wubba lubba dub dub?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. They put more meaning into after
Oh,
episodes
okay.
later that means he's
Oh,
immense
okay.
pain or whatever. It didn't mean that when he said
Yeah.
it, just like threw it out there.
I was just thinking of Justin Roiland
He
was
was
saying
he was just
himself.
going off and making fun of catchphrases and whatever.
Stone Cold Austin. Nobody's saying that? Okay.
Whatever you say, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm owning it.
Next story. Paul Mescal is in negotiations to star in the Gladiator sequel. He will play the secret son of Crow's character from the original Gladiator. Ridley Scott will be returning as director. So this is not the son that died. Somehow he has a secret son, which already, to me, that's off to a bad start. He just had a secret son. And I think it's from the original wife, too, so none of it makes sense.
Interesting.
And I'm not sure the last time I liked the Ridley Scott film, so you excited for a Gladiator sequel? Stop jumping your camera.
Huh? I know. I keep. Well, you know why? Because you have a cordless headphone. I don't. So if I move and I hit it, it moves. But anyway, am I excited? I don't know. I like the first one, but you never know. And Ridley Scott has done good stuff. He did Raised by Wolves, and that shit's fucking amazing. Yeah, I don't know.
How much? What did he do? Direct the first episode, or he direct multiple episodes?
He executive produced it. I think it was an original concept he had.
Yeah,
I don't know how much he wrote, but you can feel his vibe in it though.
Yeah, I'm not giving him credit for that.
You're not? Wow.
No, it's not directing.
I would.
Anybody could be executive producer.
I think he did direct.
Probably directed one episode.
I'm sure he did. Yeah. And I think he definitely helped develop the show. This is his project. If you watch it, you can definitely feel his influence, at least his influence. It looks like the creator's Aaron Guzikowski, though.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
Well, anyway, it's very good. It's a
he's the writer and creator.
Yeah, and I liked Prometheus. Didn't he do Prometheus?
Prometheus,
right?
Prometheus was so close to being a good movie, and he fucked it up.
Huh?
So close.
He did.
It was close to being a great movie, and he fucked it up. You know what Prometheus was really supposed to be about? That would have made the movie make more sense. I don't know if you remember much. I mean, I don't remember much of the movie either, but the big aliens, the disc jockeys. You know why they were the bald guys? Why they were upset?
Why?
Because they gave Earth a gift 2,000 years ago, and we killed it. You know who that is?
Who?
Jesus. So the whole movie is about creation and life, right? So the in the actual script, which they should have kept, they sent Earth a gift 2,000 years ago, which was Jesus, and then we killed him. and they're so pissed at us that that's why they're pissed. That's why they're pissed at us because we killed Jesus. Their gift to us. So that was
That's actually a good concept, I think.
hence the name Prometheus and all this stuff and the themes and
Yeah.
they should have kept it because the movie would have made more sense. There's just a lot of stupid, nonsensical stuff in that movie that it was so close to being a great movie, and they should have stuck to certain things.
But that if it was so close, I mean, that doesn't make him a bad director. I mean, he just
no, I didn't say he's a bad director. I didn't say he's a bad director.
Because you were like, what has he done lately? And I'm like,
well, I just say the last thing I liked was The Martian from him, but I think that was like 2015 or something.
Yeah, I'm looking, and
he's
so
a
real... he did direct 2 episodes of Raised by Wolves. He did The Last Duel. Yeah, I saw it.
He's a big hit or miss guy. Like he either hits hard or misses hard. It's just like, damn, man, where's the like?
I think it's just because he has certain. I don't know. I feel like as an artist, sometimes you have certain stories you want to tell, and that doesn't mean everyone's gonna like it.
And then
doesn't mean he's bad.
What? Not necessarily he's bad at all. Like he's obviously he could still make a good movie. I'm just skeptical because even the sequel to Prometheus, because I accept Prometheus, the sequel was god awful. It was even worse. It was stupid. It was like so stupid, dancing aliens and whatnot. Like, come on, bro.
I liked it, but with The Last Duel, you know what he did? He kind of did the 90s thing where no one had a British accent. And I was just like, at this point, nowadays we go for the realism, but it took me out of it,
That reminds me
it was with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon.
Remember sorry, you remember Robin Hood?
No, go ahead.
You remember Robin Hood?
But I liked Robin Hood.
That's the first thing I liked it, but it's a little drab, it's a little slow, but I did like it. But that's the first thing I thought when you said those 90s kind of pictures, no English accent.
Yeah, in the 90s, you just did that.
You wish to end this? You wish to go home? Then we must stop fighting amongst ourselves and face that the price for it may be dear.
I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio did the Iron Mask. He didn't have a British accent. There are quite a few in the 90s where you just didn't do that because you liked the actor. And so he kind of went for that again with The Last Duel. And I'm like, nowadays, people go hard on the realism. Like, it just took me out of it. It's like, this is just kind of weird.
Did you see Robin Hood Men in Tights, which was in the 90s? Mel Brooks?
I did, but it's been so long.
Mel Brooks, last great movie, and one of the first things he says is, well, it's not the first thing he says, and I can speak with a British accent.
I've come to warn you that if you do not stop levying these evil taxes, I shall lead the good people of England in a revolt against you.
And why should the people listen to you?
Because, unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
Because they don't do that. They weren't doing it at that time. And it was like, ooh.
Yeah. They weren't. Yeah. Heath Ledger did one too. I think it was like based off a Knight's Tale. It's called Knight's Tale. Like, yeah. In the 90s, it was just a known thing. No one committed. And so he did that with The Last Duel, and I was like, it's not the 90s anymore. He did House of Gucci. I mean,
people like that, right?
Yeah, that was solid. Like that? They liked it, but what I will say the best part of it was Lady Gaga, more than anything else. She sold the film. I think she carried that film. Otherwise, I don't know. It was okay. It was a good story. It was interesting, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm hopeful. Gladiator 2 will be good. We'll see. I think, it'll be good.
I don't know if he's the type of guy that could go back to the well, but we'll see. Especially it's just that the forcing the Secret Son thing, it's like it's already a bad start to me.
Yeah, well, why is he doing the Secret Son thing? Like, why not?
Because it can't be Gladiator without that family. So I don't know. It seems forced. It just seems forced.
Yeah.
I didn't think he'd be the type of guy to force something like that, but anyways.
We'll see. Yeah.
So I asked you to recommend a novel. Apparently you don't read books, so graphic novel it is.
I do read books. I actually read lots of books, but for some reason lately it's like all been nonfiction. Yeah.
Well, I haven't read any books lately, so I can't hate too much. But what's your recommendation?
Well, obviously for graphic novels, as you know, Saga's well, Saga, you know what I'll recommend though? It's also another graphic novel that I personally have reached out to the writer and the artist, and I've had conversations with them. I think it should be made, and it's called Alex plus Ada. And they've had offers here and there. I even when I worked at another company, or actually, I think when I was independent, I made them an offer too. Um, it's a really good book. So Saga, I mean, if you read comics, everyone knows that needs to be made. But I think Brian K. Vaughan is very hesitant because it's just really out there, and it would be hard to make. But he has in the back of his book what's called To Be Continued, and he recommends books. And one of them was Alex plus Ada, and it's very like minimalistic, and it's like one of those stories where it's like just 10 years into the future, and this guy's grandma buys her grandson um an android, a female android, and it's very beautifully told. Like it's like an iPhone. He just opens a box, press a button, and they're paired. It's not this big complicated process to have her. And in this universe, you can have an android as a boyfriend or girlfriend, and it's accepted. But it goes to some weird places. Like androids end up having their own virtual lounge, so they can like talk to each other in some other virtual realm where humans can't go. But there's like, obviously like we see that a lot, but if it could be done well and interesting, the humans versus the android war type of thing. And so that is sort of addressed in the book, because I do think it's the future of discrimination where, AI is coming. It's just coming. It's going to be here. And like, how are we going to discriminate them? How are we going to treat them when they probably are going to end up having a lot of what we have, feelings, they can be injured. So I don't know. The book is so good. This book series, it's called Alex plus Ada. And then there's lots of nonfiction too that I think can be adapted that I read. But that's a good one. I think people should know about that one. And it's done.
Sounds pretty good.
Series.
That sounds pretty good. What might spoil them is a story I have here that I wasn't going to talk about. I can mention real quick. James Cameron confirmed the discussions are taking place to reboot the Terminator franchise. Cameron told the SmartList podcast that he would shift the focus to artificial intelligence instead of bad robots, which is, if you watch The Matrix, it always felt like that's the prequel to Terminator, So yeah. he might be doing something very similar in Getsu like he always does. But
shoot, I gotta make my film because my short. I think everything is that I know, and I wrote something 10 years ago, which about the universal tale is like I don't even want to.
Don't even say much.
Say what it's about. I shouldn't say too much about it. But
we were obsessed with robots for decades. I think with artificial intelligence, when you had that Google guy who hit the panic button and went to news outlets like, oh, it's sentient. I don't know if you heard that story, but he was saying their AI is sentient and everything. Most people, I don't think it was. Most of it looks like it's just kind of crazy. But there's even an AI thing right now that you can go online and talk to for free. It'll talk back to you. It's still got a long way to go, but AI is definitely the way. That's where we're headed to next.
That's where we're headed. Yeah.
Remember we had 100%. Those freaky robots and they abuse I don't know if it's video they abuse the freaking robots, but AI is next because AI is what's going to pair to these robots. So you got to get the AI to
100%.
Yeah. So that's where these stories are going.
Future.
Yeah.
And I think we need to have discussions about it. Yeah, no, it's very good. They're even saying that internet, they've noticed that if you look at wireless internet and when it's communicating, they feel like there's been signs it's having conversations with each other. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I mean,
sometimes I have to talk to Siri, so just kind of. I don't know what's the Apple one. Wait, Siri is.
I talk to Alexa all the time.
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, I talk to Alexa, not Siri. I talk to Alexa. And she's fucking annoying sometimes.
Do you love me?
I don't have human love figured out quite yet.
Exactly.
Quite yet. Did you hear that though? She said, "I don't have human love figured out quite yet."
Scary shit.
Yeah.
All right, the book that I would like to see made into a movie, I read it a long time ago. It's from Alan Dean Foster, called The Eye Inside. I don't know. Are you aware who Alan Dean Foster is?
I am, and you've told me about him before. Yeah, he's a very prolific writer and important writer for the 80s and for Star Wars.
For people who don't know, he's probably my second favorite writer, Alan Dean Foster. He wrote the novelizations for the original trilogy of Star Wars. He did the Aliens books. and then a bunch of sci-fi, Star Trek, and he does his own novels. And the thing that people don't realize, a lot of the terminology that we use in Star Wars was actually created by Alan Dean Foster. So the first novelization, they actually gave credit to George Lucas, but George Lucas didn't write it. Alan Dean Foster did. And then you know, he's going off. He actually, I don't even know if he saw the movie when he had to write it. I think he just went off the script. And the scripts aren't very detailed. So a lot of the terminology that we use today, he actually created.
Nice.
So he's actually like, he should be kind of like a co-creator of Star Wars, really. But without him, the Star Wars wouldn't be what it is today. So he's a great writer, science fiction writer. And The Eye Inside, I don't know how to explain it without giving too much away, but it's a sci-fi novel that takes place in the future, and it would work as a movie just for the fact that he finds out he's more special than he realizes, and there's a lot of action, sci-fi, and it's really good. It's a really fun read, and I think it would make a fun movie. So
that's cool. Yeah, no, I actually got to read that. Yeah,
it's my favorite novel from him. So Alan D. Foster, The Eye Inside, worth a read, and I think it'll be a fun movie. Somebody should definitely make it.
Did you know that Guillermo del Toro is the senior editor for Penguin Horror Books?
No, that's cool though. I mean, I never heard Penguin Horror Books. So.
Well, I bought my first. So I've never really read. I have read some horror because I've read Stephen King, but I wouldn't say that I've read a lot. And just knowing that how much I love horror in general, as far as films, I was like, I need to read more horror books. I don't know if you read a lot of or have read a lot of horror books.
No, the only ones I read, I don't remember the writer's name. The writer of Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, okay.
I read the trilogy. That's the closest thing I've read to horror. I don't think I read.
So I'm starting The Haunting of Hill House, which is a female writer, which is really cool. And Guillermo del Toro.
That's an old story, right?
Yeah. It's a classic book, but Guillermo del Toro did the intro for it, and damn, he knows his shit. He's read a lot, and like it makes sense that he's a senior editor for Penguin Horror Books. It's crazy. Like I knew he knew his shit, but damn, that took another level. That took it to another level.
How's he gonna find the time, dude?
I don't know. All
right, so do you have any movie recommendations before we go?
Oh yeah, shoot, I forgot. You go first.
I'm gonna go first. So I'm gonna recommend a TV show today. So this is by Rockne S. O'Bannon, creator of Alien Nation and Farscape. And Farscape's a great show too. I don't know if you've ever seen this. People might have forgot about it. It was called SeaQuest DSV, starring Roy Schneider and Jonathan Brandis. Remember Jonathan Brandis? I think you had a crush on him.
Oh yeah, I did.
It was like Star Trek that takes place in the sea. Maybe it was on Sci-Fi Channel or something. It was a really good show. I think you would have liked this. SeaQuest DSV. It was really good. And all three seasons are completely different though, so they kind of kept retooling it. But I was along for the ride. Jonathan Brandis was great, and then you got Roy Schneider for the first 2 seasons. It was basically, I grew up on the original Star Trek and Next Generation, so it was basically that, but under the sea. So, and the third one is more like it gets more tense, but then it got canceled. But yeah, it was a really good show, sci-fi show. I don't know who shows it, but if you can find it, you should watch it.
Well, going along with what you're saying as far as sci-fi, it's a show we both like, Sliders. I feel like people should definitely watch
original Rick and Morty, right there, the portal gun right there.
What if you could travel to parallel worlds, the same year, the same Earth, only different dimensions? A world where the Russians rule America, or where your dreams of being superstar came true, or where San Francisco was a maximum security prison. My friends and I found the gateway. Now the problem is finding a way back home.
Right there, remote control. Yeah.
Actually, it still holds. Some things are like dated, but I was watching it. Yeah, some things are dated, but it's fun and it's kind of creepy and interesting, and like I was watching it actually recently the other day while folding clothes, and I found myself still invested, in the people and the characters. Like, but there was like the second episode, I'm sure because you're a fan, is that or maybe it's the first. No, it's the second episode. They go into like a diseased pandemic world. I don't know if you remember.
I vaguely remember.
So, and they were like, we don't have medicine. And so they saved the day by creating penicillin. And I was like, that's kind of silly. But they have doctors, because they had doctors, they had scientists, and all these things, but no medicine.
They
That's
didn't
weird.
discover. I think they meant they never discovered penicillin, but they had medicine. Maybe, I don't know.
No, they said they didn't have medicine. Yes.
You know what? I
joking?
watched this series twice, and I loved it twice. And then when I went back for the third time, a little older, I was like, oh, it was kind of not as great as I remember. But yeah, people don't realize, like, Rick and Morty probably they need to acknowledge Sliders, probably, because that portal and everything and the remote.
But
and
it's scarier because you know why? They're stuck. They can't go home.
Yeah,
you know, and Rick and Morty, he can go back whenever he wants. He's going on fucking adventures. He's having a blast.
I'm just saying that as far as inspiration, it's like
the inspiration.
I'm just like the look. It's not just Back to the Future. I think Sliders is definitely a big part of that. But I love Sliders. The later seasons I watched with his brother Jerry O'Connell's brother took over.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Dang.
You know what's great? The professor, and my ox and Indiana Jones.
Yes.
I always love that they had him. That's the professor. Like, that's a great catch right there. But Sliders was a great fucking show. Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
I think people need to know it's dated, but it's cool. I've had nightmares of like being stuck like him and like not being able to go home, and I'm all in all these different dimensions, and I think I'm home and I'm not.
What's sad is
the concept is scary though.
What's sad is he does make it home, but he thinks he's not home because the squeaky gate is the mom fixed the squeaky gate.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah.
So and then he leaves. And then he leaves, right? Yeah,
he leaves because he doesn't think he's home. Because God forbid you'll fix the squeaky gate, because she never fixed it before.
So tragic. So tragic.
Then,
I hear Alf has a tragic ending like that too. I never saw the ending to Alf.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch Alf?
They did. They take him away. The government takes him away. You have no idea what happens to him.
That's so fucked up.
It's so funny. They got great outtakes though. It's so funny ass outtakes because the dad didn't want to be there, and the puppet is just too much. But
don't ever touch me.
Sorry.
What's the name of the show?
Sorry, Alf.
Man.
Rip his ear off.
5, 4. If you're gonna touch me down here.
The other reason I love Sliders is because it's basically a continuation of another sad show was Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap is kind of the same thing. It's not dimension jumping, but he's going into people's lives, and he gets the fucked up ending where he doesn't get to go home.
Yeah, I do. That one I do remember. Ending. That was fucking. Yeah. But I feel like that one, I think there was no hope. Well, I guess there was hope he was going to go home, but I remember feeling like he's not going to go home. But with Jerry O'Connell, I was like, oh, he'll get there. There's not that many dimensions. He'll get home. But with Quantum, it seemed more like spiritual, like he was locked into this journey of like helping people, and like how many people can he help, like it just
well, the last episode he implies you can go home with maybe the God character, you can go home whenever you want, but he doesn't. They don't show him. He helps Al, and that's about it. Actually,
exactly.
I know they actually just continued it. I don't know if you know that it's back on TV, Quantum Leap.
I know. Yeah,
I haven't watched it because I actually wanted a sequel maybe like 10 years after that show where it'll be his daughter called Samantha, and that would have been cool to me, like his daughter Samantha, cool. So she's still called Sam. But they waited too long, and I don't care.
But it's network. Do you still watch network television? What do you think the future of network is?
The future of network is a great question. I think they know they're dying. That's why they're doing their own streaming as well. They have their own apps and streaming as well. And then the problem with network is not many people want to watch the live sitcom anymore, and they can't do as much because they're network TV. And I was having a conversation, or I saw something about this too, because it is dying. That's why they're doing the apps where they can do more. Because isn't like Yellowstone an NBC show, but it was a Paramount show, but they showed it on NBC or something like that.
No, I mean Yellowstone always streamed. I mean, maybe it was on NBC, but as far as I know, it actually was on Epix first.
They were upset.
Evolved to Paramount, or got absorbed by Paramount.
So, because they were upset that they couldn't show it on their app because they sold it to another network, so it has to be on their network first.
Well, check Epix, because I do remember the ads for Yellowstone, and it said Epix, because Epix was
So see, it's streaming on exclusively on Peacock, which is owned by NBC, but it's actually like a Paramount series. So they fucked up.
Yeah.
But they don't actually show it on network TV. They just show it on Peacock. Is that what it is?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's
no.
always weird.
Okay, so they show the old episodes on Peacock, but the new episodes are only available on Paramount Plus.
So it's the other way around.
And I know because I watch it. It's actually really good. But the prequels to me are better. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you watched it?
I'm behind. So I worked there to watch it. And I watched random episodes, and then like that was actually pretty good. I didn't know these people, but
it's actually really good. But the prequels are even better. It's crazy.
But yeah, network
and the new
TV,
one has Harrison Ford.
What do you watch anything on network TV?
Okay, so I actually saw your concept that you gave me 7 years ago. Maybe I shouldn't say, but you told me a dream you had.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, with dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's a show called La Brea, and it's very similar. And I was like, oh, let me try this out. It's a network show, so it's network TV. And I was like, and I streamed it because you could stream it now, but it runs on TV. And yeah, it feels different, and it made me think, like, with everything coming out on Netflix, these TV shows are becoming like films, and people are really invested now in seeing a show that feels like a film. And network hasn't gotten there. You can feel it's a network show. You can feel that the development and the creation and the lighting and the performances are just not at the same film level. They're still doing like a TV level type of show, if that makes sense. I don't know how that will continue to survive, but it's a great concept. And I was thinking, like, oh, if HBO took on this concept, like, I could see it doing really well. It was a cool concept.
A lot of it's in like reality TV, and then all these NCIS is still popular. So there's a
reality. I still watch. I do still watch reality. Yeah.
I see La Brea right there. So a lot of it I see is a lot of it's NCIS fucking spin-offs, cop shows, and then reality TV we're still in. But yeah, it's kind of like
it's fading out, huh?
It's fading out, and then they're not gonna be gone completely if the apps do well, where they can do more on those app shows, because technically the Yellowstone is a network show, but I don't know.
But will cable ever, like, I think like it might dissolve, I mean, they're already setting themselves up to be available on streaming, and a lot of them, if you buy a certain package, you can just stream. You don't have to watch it on network TV,
A lot of crime shows.
I mean, people still do
love the crime shows.
and stuff
Simpsons.
Like the View, and the daytime shows.
That's daytime,
again. Yeah.
It is interesting because advertisers.
Still stream it.
Advertisers still need to go somewhere, because they're not going on Netflix just yet. I think they might try a model at some point.
Well, no, they already did. Netflix does have commercials now.
They do have the model, okay, and then HBO.
What they did was, like, if you have Netflix, they're not going to change your plan, but what they're doing now is they're offering a lower plan. So, like, if you want to pay $5 or $6 a month and have Netflix, you can, and now you'll have ads. But for us,
I think that's fine.
We don't get it. Yeah, I think so too. That's a great idea.
But yeah, I don't know. It'd be kind of sad. I don't think it's going anywhere soon, but it's definitely trending down. I don't know, because I was having a conversation with my coworker how she doesn't even watch network TV anymore, and why is she paying for cable? I was like, really, don't have to. There's definitely options for you, even with like Hulu, right, where you can watch network, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. When Brooklyn Nine-Nine is probably the last network TV show I've watched, and I don't even know if they're still making it, but falling behind. But we want to catch up, and we're gonna catch up on Hulu. So
but Hulu has commercials. Peacock, I watch it with commercials. I actually watch Hulu with commercials too. Paramount Plus, I think I watch with commercials. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's good for comedies if it's not a studio audience comedies. I mean, we had Parks and Recs, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What are all the same?
Oh, you know what I do?
The last one was actually the last one. Before you say, the last one that I did watch was the one where she goes to heaven, and then I can't remember. This is like all from the same creator though. So
which one?
The Happy Place. Was that what's called, The Happy Place?
Oh, that's a good one. The Good Place.
The Good Place, yeah.
That's a good.
But there's all the same creator though. What were you gonna say?
Well, FX has lots of great shows actually. Donald Glover's show was on it. Atlanta was really good.
That's cable.
Reservoir Dogs.
That's cable.
Okay.
Though. Okay. Like the Always Sunny is still on. Yeah, they could do more too. The cable TV. But I don't know. At some point, we'll be like rest in peace, like Blockbuster. I don't know.
And will we miss it though? Not like I
mean,
Blockbuster.
I stopped watching network TV. Like, I mean, technically I haven't, but I stopped turning on the TV live with commercials like 10 years ago already. So I was ahead of time.
Yeah, I still do, but I actually like the sound. It makes me nostalgic. So I won't watch it, but I'll maybe have it playing in the background if I'm doing something. You know?
See, I'm on YouTube. I do that with YouTube. I don't do that.
I do that with YouTube too. Yeah, I do that with YouTube too. You're just evolved. You're the next generation.
Well, yeah, I don't like the nostalgia thing. No, I'm all about the advance. I love technology. I'm about the advancement, whatever's easier. I'm not trying to go backwards where stuff I ended and like. I mean, I don't miss ads. Ad block all the way.
So wait, so you don't watch commercials? Like all your streaming services are premium?
Sure. I'll say.
We'll say they're the premium experience.
I will say, like, even on Hulu, I got really good ad block, so I can watch Hulu ad block. So
okay, yeah, I still watch commercials.
Yeah.
Well, I zone out.
Anyways, all right, that's it. Go back to the movies. I don't know if you want to go back to regular TV, but go back to the movies. James Cameron said it.
Yes, go back to the movies. I just saw Whale. I saw Megan. Go back to the movies. Megan, I thought was great.
Well,
I thought it was good.
Save it for next week if it was really good. But that's it. We're gonna wrap it up. You can give us your thoughts on Megan next week.
Go to the movie
if you're available.
There's lots of movies to see.
Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Adios.